Parshas Pinchas, Tavshin Pehei. We're here in the Mir Yehivah. Rabbi Say wanted to say, start out the big side, and the Torah speaks about the Pinchas made a Kiddush Hashem. He was Heshav's Chamosi, Bekan's Kanasi, the Chalisias made Sol Bekanasi. Hashem gives him Brisholim. Then a few psukim later it says the God that he killed a Nasi from Kal Yisrael, and he killed the daughter of the Rosh Beis of Midian, one of the kings of Midian. Why does it start out the pasuk telling us? You know, Pinchas, what he did, he risked his life to go kill the Nasi Shem Yisrael, to go kill the Rosh Beis of Midian. I'll tell us, someone Kanaan Pagam boy, if someone tries to kill someone, the person can kill him first. What's like a pshat? We don't accentuate the risk to his life. We only accentuate the Kiddush Hashem. So the Mir Yehivah, he tells us that the Ikar Avodas HaChaim, Rabbi Say, is for a person to live a Kiddush Hashem. That's the Ikar Avodah. He said, Avodas is Chosh V'Zach, someone gives life a Kiddush Hashem. Chavetz Chaim is a Dam B'Seiv Yomov, Tavai Ki B'Zoiche, to fall Kiddush Hashem. But the Shizak is that could be B'Seiv Yomov, he felt he wasn't accomplishing as much. He felt to be big Kiddush Hashem if he gives his life. When a person b'toikev kfurasoi adarabba, his focus has to be that he wants him b'kadosh Shem Shemayim to live a Kiddush Hashem. Rabbi say, how every minute of your day you can be b'kadosh Shem Shemayim, and every action that you do. We said many times, even the gashmis of a person spends such a big portion of his life with gashmis, eating, sleeping, drinking, taking care of his needs. Shem didn't make a person malach for a reason, because you can kaddish Shem Shemayim in the way you eat, and the way you drink, and the way you sleep. Everyone knows that Rabbi Moshe Press, who started the whole Liman mussar, how he went ahead in the yeshivas, how he went ahead and he learned from his Rebbe about the Indian from mussar, from Zilmei Salant. He saw the way he ate by a chasana, and he was in the spore from the way he ate. Mamish, he saw Mamish eat Mamish, the Shem Shemayim, with Al Halochis. He became his Talmid from that. And that came at the Ganze Liman mussar. Kodesh Baruch Hu didn't make a person that he should waste a quarter, a third, a half of his life, Chas Hashem, with Inyoni Agashmi, but Adarabba. The greatest of Kiddush Hashem is when the mensch Alein, like we spoke last week, that Tzomilcha Nafshi, Yechamilcha Besari, when the mensch himself is a Kiddush Shem Shemayim. His ganze mus, his ganze Avodas HaChaim, whatever he does, is whether he's shopping in a store, whether he's going ahead and eating a Suda. Adarabba, she eat a Suda for Talmid Chochem, it's never like Nenem Ziv Ashchina. It's Gevaldig Avodas, Mamish Nenem Ziv Ashchina, it's like Chilsa Kabonis. That's what the Torah is telling us. The Torah accentuates the Kiddush Hashem he made. It doesn't accentuate right away the fact he risked his life. Because the Ikar Avodas HaChaim is to Mekadosh Shem Shemayim, Rabbi said Lebedig Aheit. Wanted to say just one akud over here. And that is, this is something very, very powerful, Rabbi say. I'm going to say it as clear as I can. The pasuk tells us that to get revenge on Midyanim, ki yitorim lechem nechleim. They are your enemies. Okay? It says Rashi, Shefkiru, B'naiseam, Lizards, Kedel, Atoischem, Achapa'or. They purposely went ahead and they sent their daughters to you in order to make you stumble after Avodah Zarah Pa'or. Vesmoya v'leirot l'Arshman Rashi has a different reason. L'chayra, we think perhaps that the goyim, they're trying to how you say the missionaries Rahman Aslan and the throughout the generations, the Redifis, because they really believed in their religion and wanted to get us to become believers. But the truth of the matter is no. We said many times that they studied the Inquisition. And they saw that their own Galochim didn't believe in their own religions and their own Zachen. They just Pasha wanted to mitzar Klal Yisrael. The Pasha they were sadists. They wanted to torture people. We said many times that people who are Isik and Sheker become themselves Ra. They become themselves mamish miserable. Baal Pa'or, the Midyanim knew it's baloney. They know it's garbage. Go ahead and relieve yourself on an idol. That's a way of avodah. They try to convince us to go after it. Not because they wanted to help us out. We should come to the emes chas v'shalom. They wanted to help us out. They wanted to show us the light. It's because they hated us. They wanted to be machshel us with as a rishus, with as a shtus, with as a hevel, Rabbi say. Verkehrt. That's what Rashi's telling us. Ki tzorm him l'chem. They hate you. Rabbi say. She said many times. Today, and many of them said, today in America, the Seforim in America, the Avodah in America is a redifas hamomim. The people start to believe that money has a shavius, money has a koyach has v'shalom. The guy goes ahead and he invests the most powerful thing that he has, is the life itself Hashem gave him. He has a koyach with his life to learn the Shisha Sidrei Mishnah, to learn the Gemaras, to learn Bava Yerushalmi, to learn the Shulchan Aruch. And instead, he runs around the world pursuing wealth, pursuing riches. What does he do? He convinces himself, no, it's a Shem Shemayim, he'll support yeshivas, he can support koyalim, he can support Amanas V'Yisayim, he can go and give money for this and for that, help him make chasanas. It's also nice to get him away from learning about Yisrael, to convince him that the money has a value, the money has a shavius. He takes something that's worthless and meaningless about Yisrael. A person, like we said many times, a person can do anything and take anything in this world that Hashem doesn't want him to have. You can have all the money in the world about Yisrael, Hashem Yerachim. We can't be never in this world, the key who's there, that Hashem doesn't even deny from. You can't buy yourself any pleasures that you don't have a right to have from Kadosh Baruch Hu. And for that reason, because he's wasting his time, he starts to be machshav it. And he starts to believe in it. And he starts to think it's choshuv, and it's powerful, and with that he can find shidduchim, with that he can find, what he called, happiness. He starts to convince himself. Just like you see by the Baal Pa'or, deep down, they knew how ridiculous this Avodah Zarah is, and how it could do nothing for them. But yet, the more they got involved in it, the more they tried to machshel other people, everybody say also. I wanted to say just one akuda here, over here. I think it's from the Gresti Yisoidis. Rashi says, to the umas from Vaza Klal Yisrael. And they said, do you think that the Mitzrayim didn't live with the Yiddish women? You think all the Yiddish children are all, holy children from their parents? You don't think the Mitzrayim father these children? So if HaKadosh Baruch Hu says, HaKadosh Baruch Hu put his name on them, Hey mitzad zeh, Yud mitzad zeh, Haru veini, Sasra ends with a Yud, Hachetz roini, Hachanoichi, Lafir Chet HaKadosh Baruch Hu Shmei Aleim, Hey mitzad zeh, Yud mitzad zeh, Lemesh meni Aleim, Shem b'nei Avoseiim, that they're the children of the Avos. Rabbi say, I want to tell you a moedige Zach. How Lamaisa, we spoke about this, we have in a safe in Shemois, how Lamaisa they're able to take it? Let's think a second. When the Mitzrayim Rachmal and the Avodim Shvelim, how they're able to go in and keep their Kedusha, and keep their holiness, and not fall into his nus, and arise at the Mitzrayim. It was a place where Shtufei Zima, as the whole place was. How were they able to? Sagmir Rabbi say. Because they had a semel, they had with them someone to look up to, that Yosef HaTzadik Rabbi say, who came down to Mitzrayim as a bocher, 17 years old, the most handsome boy in the world. And he paved the way and showed them that a person could come to the Gresta Nisyonis and fall into the Gresta Shverkaitin, and he could still go ahead and still keep the Kedushas Yisrael. He fought off the Ashes by Tifar, Ad Kedei Kach, that this Matronisa told him, be sure, I don't believe the whole story. It's not possible. How can you do such a thing? Rabbi, you're right. To a regular person is not possible. But for a person that has a rotzen of steel, like Yosef HaTzadik had, he showed us that even in a place he could be alone, without his family, without nobody, a slave, and he could keep Kedushas Yisrael. He was the semel, he was the sign for us, he was the example for us to show us how Yid lives in Golus HaBaisai. He doesn't make cheshbonis, he doesn't make any calculations and say, well, listen, Efshi can go ahead and try to bend to the goyim a little bit like this, become friends with them. Maybe they'll free him from slavery. Maybe go back to his father in Eretz Canaan. He go back to Yeshiva Shem Ve'ever, to Yeshiva's father, and learn Vayta the Torah that's following from Shem Ve'ever. He didn't make no cheshbonis, no heter, no nothing. He showed us. No shaykhs. The answer is no. No limit and alf, and that's it. And that's when we went down to Mitzrayim, we had that in front of us. We had the mussar. That's where we were able to go ahead. When the Freedom saw that whatever it is, the answer is no. We have nothing to do with them. We stayed away from them. Like Shira Shemam, Malbushim Lashonim, we dress different. We don't walk around with their styles, with their preachers, we didn't mingle with them. We stood on our own. We looked like Yidden there. We held on to our Yiddishkeit. We made a separation from them. We were able to stay holy as the Am Hashem, the Hashem made on us. Then our one mitzvah was able to touch one Yid. We stayed by Kedusha Seinu. She used to say over when Yidden came to America after the war, before World War II, 100 years ago. There was a big discussion then about keeping Shabbos. If you didn't work on Shabbos, they said don't come back on Sunday and Monday. It was like a 6-day work week. And my the families never felt the marsh nothing to eat, and this Hashem never did any programs then. It was only the ones that stood strong, like Yosef HaTzadik, with the Vayemoyin. They don't care what, there's no cheshbonis, there's no nothing, there's no stories, there's no anything. It's Shabbos, it's like a brick wall that you can't go through no matter what. No cheshbonis in the world can let you walk through a brick wall. Those are families still today that are big mishpacha, chosh mishpachas and Klal Yisrael today. Rabbi Torah, Gedolim. Those Nebuch that compromised and fell. We're not going to judge anyone. But Hashem Yirachem, the children of Nebuch took it to the next level. And Hashem Yirachem, where are they today? Where are they today? The Jews used to say, so many Jews came to America. Where are all those Jews today? They didn't stand strong with the Vayemoyin. If you didn't stand strong, if you don't have to stand strong in your beliefs, people respect you. They see that. But as soon as you cave in and you give an inch, she was to say, we say in the Al-Chetz, what does it mean? All the Al-Chetz Yetzirah. What do you mean? All the Al-Chetz Yetzirah. No? If it is no Rai, all the Al-Chetz, right? It's all the Yetzirah. What's up? A new Al-Chetz Yetzirah. Is that all of them were saying? Shivi says, a Mulgai can fall. Mulgai can fall. Make a mistake sometimes. He says, but not to fight back. To sit and lay in bed, he said. He already tells you it's to miss Seder. Chut up out of bed, maybe come a bit late, just to stay in bed, he says. and miss a day, miss a week, not to fight him. He said, why do you give Yetzirah a victory for? That's the Gest Al-Chet, he said. They were able to keep the Kedusha. It looked like something that's impossible for one reason. Because they followed Yosef HaTzadik, they followed the Vayemoyin. Hashem was able to be made on them, the Kedusha of Klal Yisrael. I saw one with a Kuda I'm to enjoy very much. Pasuk talks about Vaytu, P'nai Slavchad. How they're able to go ahead and bring Mechadish, Gevaldige Chiddush. That if a father, Achmal Islan, does not leave over any sons, only daughters, that a daughter should be able to be Yarshin. They told Moshe Rabbeinu, they said, listen, why should the father's name not be carried on? Why should he take his nach and give it over to his brothers or to other relatives? His daughter should get it to Chayra. Moshe Rabbeinu says, let me ask Hashem. And he asked, and Hashem says, they're right. Give them the nachla. Rabbi say, how is it Shach M'nai Slavchad? We're able to go ahead and be mechadish. These are girls, these are women. They ought to go be mechadish achidish. Mamish, even the Moshe didn't know. Mamish, because the Tzidkoni is the Uzeich and the Skagal is Chosai Zakai. What's that pshat to Uzeich to come to such a chiddush to go ahead and be mechadish haloch of nachla? She was not a kashu yes, always. As l'chayra. Rashi says that they loved Eretz Yisrael, right? They come from Shevet Yosef. Yosef loved Eretz Yisrael, so he wants to be buried in Eretz Yisrael. Well, at least on Smoisem, he said, Edchem. Who says love Eretz Yisrael? They wanted a free piece of real estate. We asked the Kasha many times. I remember the Kasha, no? They wanted a free piece of real estate. Imagine to put up a sign today, by the Dirat Torah convention, right? The Dirat Torah, they put up a sign. Whoever wants a free house in Lakewood should come here, make a line over here in front of this table. We have a big box full of keys. We're giving everyone a house in Lakewood, whoever comes on this line. There be a line, right? From one end of that stadium to the other end, right? Was it with loving the land, loving it? Why did you get a free house? For what's nicht? Who's them an Abbas Eretz Yisrael? They wanted to get a free Yerushalayim. What do you see? Those doctors love Eretz Yisrael, Chivas Haaretz. They came from Nashim and Chayfim and Yosef. What do you see that? Chayfim and Nashim and Yosef. If he was a Moedik Gezach, you don't find the ask for the cash. People left Mitzrayim with 90 donkeys full of cash. They don't see the ask for cash. They ask for one thing. We want a Chilk in Eretz Yisrael. Why? Shiur says, what's the proof that the Takam wanted Chivas Haaretz and Stam piece of free real estate? So Shiur says, the Rai is like this, he said. The Rai is that there was Zoichet to come to the Richtige Pshat, to come to be Mechadish, to come to Emes Amitis HaTorah, to be Mechadish Aloch of Nachla, that a Bas is Yorish Mokim Shein Ben. There was Zoichet to that, he says, because they had an Aleph for the thing. When you have an Aleph for something, you have a different understanding. They understood the Hilchas Nachla, because they had such love for Eretz Yisrael, that gave them an understanding of the Hilchas Nachla differently. It brought it to be Mechadish Aloch in Torah. Not stam because you love money or love free property. For that you won't be zeichet to become Mechadish Torah. There was zeichet to come to Emes HaChiddush because it came from an Emes HaChukah and a Chukah and a Rotzen to have a Chelk in Eretz Yisrael. But I said to take the false Chelk in Eretz Yisrael. I said many times, a person has to work on Avos HaTorah, assembly, Ben Ibn Levis, Loshon of an Ava. A person has Avos HaTorah that opens up his heart a different way. They say Lahavdil, someone that loves money, right? As an Andr Koiches, she said, let's say the full person's born, the tipa, it says, and neither says, it says in the tipa if it's going to be a gibur, a cholosh, Asher, or Oni. Let's say it says, guy should be an Asher. Do you find him dropping down one from heaven in the guy's backyard? You have money tree going in his backyard. Right? You don't find it, it's raining down. So the Shiva said, the guy's supposed to be an Asher. He has in him a koyach. He has a rotzen. He has a chukah. He's able to get up in the morning early, run to meetings. Another guy would say, some meetings all day, running to China, running to, forget it, kapara for geld. He's happy to work for the city, make up his, work up his, whatever, a few hours a day, and that's it. He says he's not interested in running on planes, off planes, nacha meeting, bankers, and those, and skate them on. When a person wants to show someone to be rich, he gets ingrained with as a ruach, with as a rotzen. Why is the guy running for? How come we don't see other people running like that? The guy says, I'm sorry, I'm in a meeting, has 3 cell phones, one on each belt on the side, and here, he's sitting, the drivers running, doing. Teretz is that when Hashemayim don't become rich, he gets that koyach, he gets that chukah. Unfortunately, someone's bashet to be poor now, Rachmana litzlan, fakert. His hands feel like lead, Rachmana litzlan. Can't get out of bed. He's tired. He's lazy. Misses every opportunity. He's always showing up late. Always missing. Always, always late to the game. Whatever he has to be by, whatever he has to do by. Teretz is min hashamayim. They don't want him to have. We see one thing clearly. A person has to have that rotzen, that koyach, to taka become an Asher, right? That's what it is usually. Very real is the guy just win the lottery. Who want him to have the Torah also? If you have that rotzen, you have the Avos HaTorah. The same belief, ben lahavin lahaska, has to come from your heart. It has to become love. Usually you understand Torah with your brain. What's the same bereishi lahavin lahaska, but same belibi. If you have the Avos HaTorah, you become also mechadish l'usha Torah. You'll also understand, like the Bnei Slavcha, to come to Amitis HaTorah. Because they love the Eretz Yisrael, they was able to come to Emes HaLocha and Hilchas Nachlas Eretz Yisrael. If you have the Emes HaAvos HaTorah, your mind works different. You get up, you go to the Shiur, you sit the whole time, you go to the Charusa, you're Mechadish, you're learning, you're writing down, you have notes, you have Chedushim, you have Nochamal and Nochamal Chazorah. Shabbos and Yom Tov is learning days, it's not sleeping days. When a person has a Ratzon, a person has a Chukah, an Emes HaAva, the mind works differently. It's a fact, the mind works differently. The brain works at full capacity. He's able to come to Amitis HaTorah. He's able to come to also the Amitis HaTorah, just like Bnei Slavcha also. In Moshe Rabbeinu Masam came Bnei Slavcha Doivus. They were zeichet to Emes Amitis HaTorah. Rabbi say, it's a big lesson to us. Big lesson to us. What we can accomplish, what we can do, if we really want something badly. If we really love something, just like a parent, they say, can move worlds for their child, from the love of the child. Right? There's nothing they can't do. She once said, he saw a woman, disabled, was able to personally pick up a child that was twice her size, the love for the child, gave her, engulfed her with such a strength, with such a koyach. Mamish, she was able to go ahead and mamish carry and lift and do. So outcome the koyach and Ava. The person doesn't get bored, doesn't get tired, doesn't get lazy. He knows he has a chashivas azach. His Ava's a chibas ha'oretz, a chibas ha'davar. Small Nakuda. Pasuk says is Moshe tells the Kodesh Baruch Hu that he should make Klal Yisrael another leader. So he tells him, the Kodesh Baruch Hu, Rashi brings down, it should be someone that's going to be soivel each and every person. He should feel for every person. Rashi brings down, okay, Ruchas. Gol vidu Rabbani Shalom gol b'fnechah shtarish kol echad ve'echad ein dam zel zeh mana le mane she'soiv kol echad ve'echad v'daitet. Rashi says you have to please make a manig, a ruler that's going to be soivel each person on his own level. Rabbi say this Rashi is a moed gechizik to us. Klal Yisrael, we're not a bunch of fish in a bucket. We're not a bunch of potatoes in a sack or eggs in a chveis, eggs in a dozen.
Sounds delicious.
Rabbi say we yichidim. Each one, he said the Kodesh Baruch Hu, please make a ruler that's going to be soivel kol echad ve'echad lefi daitoi. Everyone has the eigen koiches. Rabbi say Hashem, look around the room over here. Look at the person next to you. Hashem created the person next to you. It's because there's something he brings to this world that no one else does. There's no one here without a tachlis, Rabbi say. Right? The Goyim try to teach a person that the human being evolved from monkeys. And once the Yeshiva asks, he says, it's funny. How come we don't find today any monkeys turning into people? You go to the zoo, I never see you go every Chambay to the zoo, the monkeys stay monkeys. Why do you see today monkeys turning into people? Why do you buy monkeys? Well, they did, and they did, and they stopped. The bria from a mensch, the koiches he has, the Kodesh Baruch Hu says, I want you. To me, you're a ben yochid. You have your own tafkid. Ain't daitem shem. No people think alike. Ain't patsem shas. No two people look alike. No two people sound alike. HaKadosh Baruch Hu makes every person with his own koiches Hashem wants, and that's why a person after 120 years, a person says Kaddish, Iskadav, Yiskadash. What's up, Iskadash Meirabah? Because the person, the Chemol after 120 years, leaves the world. He takes away Kvod Shemayim for the Vel, because each person has his own tafkid and tachs no one else has. If not, Hashem wouldn't have made him. Hashem didn't make it sound like, you make a bunch of cookies, with a cookie cutter, all exactly the same. Over here, each one is different, each one is miyuchid, each one is unique. Each one has their own koiches. It's a Kodesh Baruch Hu. What should we beg the Kodesh Baruch Hu? Bring a leader that's going to bring out the Yedis koiches. They said, out of a Slabotki, made so many Yeshivas, like Baron Kotler and others came from his Yeshir, Ruderman, Ravund, so many Rosh Yeshivas came from there. He wanted each Baruch to come out with his own kishroinis, with his own koiches, his own abilities, not just everyone is just the same. We're not communists where everyone lives in the same house and drives the same car. He's a koiches, he's a koin, he's a chalev, he's a Yisrael, he's a father and a son, a Rebbe and a Talmud. Kodesh Baruch Hu, Moshe Rabbeinu said to Kodesh Baruch Hu, make a leader like me, then it stands the mile of each person. We said many times that someone came to Alta from Sabotka, and he said to him that his son is a ben yochid. He said, can you please take care of him, watch over him. He's a ben yochid. So Alta Sabotka told him, you see that boy over there, pointing to the boy walking by, he's also a ben yochid. A few months another boy walked by, he said, he's also a ben yochid. He says, wait a minute, all these guys are one child family, so it's like a pshat. He said, in my eyes, each child is a ben yochid, he said. Each one is unique, each one is a chivas, each one I see as koiches adirim arein shia. And that's you have to bring at the koiches to the child. You have to tell the child what you could accomplish, no one else could. Hashem wants you and wants you avodah. What does that mean? You have to believe that kedai the ganze Welt, ha'olam u'mloya, for your avodah, for your main ishver rabbis, kedai the ganze Welt. Yivka Hashem l'kei aruchas. The koyach v'kal echad v'echad, if you feel it a little bit, we'll realize the love Hashem has for us will taka accomplish on a much different level. There's another message over here. And that is, Baruch Hu said to Moshe Rabbeinu, who thought his own children would take over, Baruch Hu said, no, Yeshua takes over. It's a famous Chazal that tell us that B'schus that Yeshua went ahead and he would masada the chairs, the safsalim, the benches, the mats, and the Beis Medrash, Moshe Rabbeinu, he was able to become the next leader. We say over sometimes, Ataf and Kelm, there was a system in Kelm. You had to become for the Choshev Bochen to be Zoiche, to clean the Beis Medrash once a week before Shabbos, to go ahead and mop the floors and wash whatever it is. You have to be Zoiche. So one time, this rich lady, her son was living in Kelm, she came to visit him. She wanted to see her son sitting pouring over Gemara. I don't know if that campus in those days or not, I'm not sure. Of a Kapanim trying to sing over Gemara, with the 2 notebooks and then 6 Seforim open. And she comes in, she sees her son sweeping the floor and mopping. She goes out of a Kelm, very upset. She says, you made my son for a cleaner, she said. For a janitor, he said, that's what I sent him to Kelm for. My son comes to such an aristocratic home. You know how many maids we have in our house? He's coming here to clean the floors. So out of a Kelm said to her, Der was kehrt the Welt, he said. Which is in Yiddish, it's hard to translate. But basically he was telling her that by sweeping the floor here, you're having an effect on the entire world, everybody say. You turn the entire world. The reason is, what's the big deal? Mesadas of Salam, so what? If that becomes a leader of Yisrael, Teretz is, everybody say, he shall cover at Torah. He shall cover at Torah. That the place should be clean, the place should be neat, they should be ready to learn right away, there shouldn't be a minute of hefsek. Gallants asked, if Chaim Bechasharberg wanted to know about if you sleep with a sitters or not. So for Bachas or Shilas, he held it, he should sleep, and then he can make a bracha, he put on a Shabbos, a new pier to make a bracha, they can take it back off, a Kopanim, but he said other one, but Kopanim, but anyway, so the person said, what's the difference? He said, he'll put on, when you sleep anyway, he's not Mechuyevin. So he answered him back. Yeah, but as soon as he gets up, put on. He said, as soon as he gets up, put it on. Well, take it maybe 2 seconds till you reach out and put it on. You want to miss him out? Miss it for 2 seconds, he said. Well, it takes never more than 2 seconds till you drays a chibah, till you turn over. Of a kapanim, he said, you want to miss out? Miss it for 2 seconds. If a shana of a salam hazis, it's a glückliche Welt. He showed cover at Torah, Yeshua. He showed the chashivas at Torah. He was able to teach the Torah. He was able to learn the Torah. He was able to know the Torah. Aggressive, parshas, and Moshe's kids can learn afilu. Nice in Yechel period. For the cover at Torah, but he said, come to chashivas at Torah. When the person is makbid on those extra 5 minutes, he ingrains himself in chashivas at Torah. When he's makbid, that they said it should be in time, it should be prayed, it should be ready, and everything neat and clean. He shows cover at Torah. With that, he's able to go ahead and bring out tremendously the chashivas of Torah, by say, to be zeicher, to talk and know the Torah. You're not fooling yourself. It's a fact. Something that you put your koiches into. Nasa diloch, Torah nasa l'sham v'rosa yegem v'leila. Torah becomes yours, by say. And just like Rashi has in parsha, Mesechta b'Metzia daf lamed ches, a person wants 1 kav himself more than 9 from his friend. Rashi has mishum the Torah. When you put your koiches in, and you put your moyach in, you have such an ava for it. You develop such a love, such a taste for it, that your koiches work differently, Rabbi say. Differently. You'll notice in a business how the boss always has better ideas and better koiches. He's there at night when everyone else goes to sleep, everyone else ready goes home, and he stays there burning the midnight candle. He puts so much effort in koiches. This is his baby, this is his koiches, this is his money on the line. He's not tired. I tell him, aren't you tired? No. Aren't you hungry? No, it's okay. He feels it's his. He feels it's his kinyan. Rabbi say, let us take one message over here. Let us take back one message over here. And that is, when someone sticks up a Kodesh Baruch Hu, like Pinchas did, he's zeiche to bris shalom, bris kunas oilam. He's zeiche to bracha that never ends. La'olam lo me'alamim. Rabbi say, we said many times, like we know, it was Chaim said about the Chet of Egel. Moshe Rabbeinu said, Mila Shem Elai. Especially now, Rabbi says, coming ben azmanim now. You find yourself, among different people, different places. And you have a chance sometimes to Mekad Shem Shamayim. To be the Pinchas, people are schmoozing, wasting time, people going ahead, and maybe Chashom talking Lashon Hara Rechilus, Machishem Chasashom. People are going ahead and knocking, or they shouldn't be knocking. And these things to go with the flow, and just shake your head and smile, you don't want to make any enemies. But the sin for the Bnei Shalaylam, when Kodesh Baruch Hu is Chashom upset at something, and you stand up for him, you have to realize the schar you're going to get is la'omer lam. We said many times, when you stand up for Hashem, and you show Hashem that you're his guy, Kodesh Baruch Hu says, I'm going to be there for you also. We often go on to Bnei Shalom one way or another, and left me one time or another. Kodesh Baruch Hu says, you're there for me, I'm there for you also, everybody say. So the lesson of Pinchas is a lesson of the Darius and Netzach Netzachim. Amol is hard. Easiest way is just to shut your mouth. Easiest way is to just look the other way. One of the worst affairs from Hanifa. She don't zecha to see HaKadosh Baruch Hu. Lots of loving. The Gemara says it in Masechta Sotah, 7th parak. B'kanais kanosi b'seicham. Hashem says, you stood up for me. You're me. You're connected to me. You're going to be a bris sholem. I want to make a bris with you. I want to connect myself to you. A bris is like a connection. Bris Kohn Asher Meyer to connect me forever, he says to him. Bris Sholem and Bris Kohn Asher Meyer forever. He brought about a gewaltige schus. Meise, Pilma Vaza him, Shana Vaza, Meise, they made fun of him. They took out the kitchen saying, and we know your older say there was this and this was that, and we remember that when you were a kid, you were a troublemaker, and started, and then you this, and they took everything out against him, and he knew it was going to come out pouring out. Someone runs like a president. All of a sudden they dig up all the dirt on him, all the years, and a Zegeton. They pull out from the closet his ex-wife, and his ex this. Lahavel Vavdolos. Pinchas knew it's coming. He knew it's going to come. He knew it would be Vazam, I say. It's not so easy to get a busha for Rabbim. We say it's Kedai. The fight for Bnei Shalaylam. Hashem says, you're there for me. Now we're connected forever. I'm there for you also, I say. You see, Elio Malchus, Pinchas says, Elio Malchus Bris. Taka, Shlechet Taka, they say, who's Vazam Suris Toivis. Shaka be Zeichet Taka, to alle Brochus. To be able to stand at the Bnei Shalaylam, to be counted as among HaKadosh Baruch Hu's mentioned. See the curve of the Yeshua Hashem of all its Golem. Amen.